Xbox Live nowadays is as much of a part of the Xbox experience as just owning the console itself. The service has been around for almost 17 years, with growing to an all-time high of over 60 million monthly users. But the Xbox Live service wasn't always what you might know it as today, and over the years went through quite a few changes, failed attempts at expanding, and additions to the service. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the evolution of Xbox Live. Xbox Live was first available on the original Xbox in 2002. When Microsoft developed their very first console, they wanted online gaming to be one of its main features. This idea was heavily inspired by the innovative features of the Sega Dreamcast in 1999, that was one of the first consoles to actually include online support. While the Dreamcast's online features were innovative, the console ended up being a failure. But with other games that were also available on the PC during that time that Microsoft had some experience at least seeing being developed on their systems of software, it wasn't too surprising that Microsoft wanted to go down that route with their own console. Also, the Xbox would have to compete with the PlayStation 2, and Sony had already developed a brand that was familiar to gamers at that point. Since the PlayStation 2 didn't originally ship with built-in network capabilities, Microsoft needed a selling point for their new console in order to go head-to-head with Sony, and they thought online support was their best bet to stand out in the crowd. Early on, they decided the Xbox would need the storage space of a regular hard drive, which was one of the reasons that Dreamcast failed, since it only came with 120 kilobyte memory cards. They also would need the throughput of a broadband connection in order to allow never-before-seen options of downloadable content like maps, levels, challenge weapons, characters, and more. This would also allow for bandwidth-intensive features like voice communication. Steve Ballmer, Microsoft CEO at the time, and Bill Gates, you know who Bill Gates is, both wanted premium content and add-ons to be available on the Xbox to attract as many new customers as possible. When the Xbox released, it was actually criticized for only including support for broadband users, since broadband still wasn't available for everyone, and they did not include any modem or dial-up support. Looking back now, it seems like Microsoft didn't make the right decision by betting on broadband internet, because can you imagine trying to play this on dial-up? Oof. When the Xbox released without the unnamed online service in 2001, it was announced that it would eventually come in a summer of 2002 release. At E3 2002, Xbox Live was officially revealed, and visitors were able to test the service with the also unreleased Unreal Championship by Epic Games. Microsoft announced that at the end of 2003, over 50 Xbox Live titles would be available. Unreal Championship was actually somewhat of a flagship for Xbox Live in the early days, and it released on the 1-year anniversary of the console. Also, a unified friends list having the same name across multiple titles and voice chat were actually pretty big innovations at the time. It allowed gamers to take on a persona and kind of exist in multiple games as that one identity. Microsoft actually lost $125 on every Xbox sold at the time, as it cost $425 to produce. But being sold for $299 each, they trusted so much in Xbox Live as a subscription model that they believed they would eventually make up their loss over the years, and with that, they happily took losing over $4 billion between 2001 and 2005. In summer of 2004, just 2 years after the launch of Xbox Live reached 1 million online users, and only 1 year after that, the number doubled to 2 million, showing Microsoft that this business model could potentially work. In 2005, the Xbox 360 launched with Xbox Live, and the number of subscribers just continued to grow. The live service on the 360 was available as both a free service, known as Xbox Live Silver, and a subscription-based service known as Xbox Live Gold, with Gold offering really the full amount of features. To celebrate the 5th birthday of the service, Microsoft gave each subscriber the game Carcassonne for free, and even gave people that were subscribed since the beginning 500 Microsoft points. After Christmas 2007, the Xbox Live service was constantly getting interrupted, or in some cases would just be offline. This was later explained because so many people had been buying and getting an Xbox 360 in that year's Christmas, that their server simply just couldn't handle the number of new signups. However, people also got a free Xbox Live Arcade game, no matter whether you were a silver or gold member, to make up for this debacle. Also in 2007, there was the launch of Games for Windows Live. Technically, Games for Windows Live was a part of the expansion of Xbox Live as a service for multiple platforms. So when Windows Vista came out in 2007, Microsoft wanted to bring Live to Windows. I can see what Microsoft wanted to do here, and they even brought Halo 2 to the PC to promote the service, but it was just horrible to use. And as history has shown us many times, trying to introduce a paid service for playing online games on the PC never goes too well. We don't want to go too much into detail of the honest failure that Games for Windows Live was and probably deserves its own video in the future, but let's get back to the Xbox 360 era of Xbox Live. One of the things that did come from Games for Windows Live in 2007 was Xbox integrated Windows Live chat into the dashboard feature, which meant if you had a friend on Windows Live, they could send you a message to your Xbox. You could send them a message back by slowly typing away. During these early years of the Xbox Live service on the 360, there were several games that really caught the attention of players and built communities around the console. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was one of the first competitive FPS shooters to really take hold that was published by a third-party developer, while Halo 3 and even back on the old Xbox, Halo 2 were really popular games. But even since the beginning of the Xbox Live experience, games like Gears of War had tight-knit communities that were really competitive, but really fun, especially with the newer edition of voice communications that was only a couple years old at that point. Sure, we had our friends list, we had our individual private chats that we could do, but party chat was game-changing. You could invite up to 7 of your friends to yell and trash talk at each other whenever you wanted on whatever game you wanted, whether you were playing the game together or not. It was really just a good way to make the Xbox environment so much more social. If you had friends, you could just chat with your friends in an Xbox Live party, even if you weren't playing games together. And that was a really cool feature. I remember joining random parties with people I didn't even know. And it was always funny whenever the party leader would say, hey, you, what do you do to a soccer ball? But either way, Xbox Live parties were so amazing, and it's a real shame that on the Xbox One they didn't handle as well when the console launched, and took a long time before them to really refine the party system to work as well as it did on the 360. When Modern Warfare 2 released in 2009, Xbox Live got a huge boost again, with over 2 million people logging in to play the game on the launch day. 8 years after the service launched, it was reported that Xbox Live grew to 23 million members. Shortly after this, however, Microsoft announced that they would be shutting down the servers of Xbox Live on the original Xbox. Also in 2010, Microsoft would increase the cost of Xbox Live in several countries by 20%, and the free service would officially not be called Xbox Live Silver anymore, even though that's what everyone still called it afterwards. Moving forward into 2013, we all know the 2013 launch of the Xbox One wasn't the smoothest, and Microsoft made quite a few mistakes on how they handled the Xbox One in its early days. Well, we don't want to rant on the bad launch that was the Xbox One again, since for the most part, Xbox Live went relatively unchanged. However, there is one part of the early Xbox One days that we haven't seen too many people talk about so far, as they did try to push the Xbox One as a multimedia console. It was always a little bit weird that Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube would only be available for Xbox Live Gold subscribers, which was dumb because you're already paying for your Netflix and Hulu subscription, and you've already paid for your console. It always felt weird that you had to pay for 2 subscriptions, and this was a policy they had for a long time, but 1 year after the launch of the Xbox One, they finally retracted that and let you play offline. I just remember that back in the day, even on the 360, if you didn't have gold, you couldn't watch Netflix. It was stupid back then too. Also in 2013, Microsoft introduced Xbox Live Games with Gold, and while it seems like a staple of the Xbox Live Gold subscription, it's probably a huge part for many people in their decision to even subscribe to Xbox Live Gold as a service. The service wasn't launched until 2013 on the 360 and wasn't really even available on the Xbox One at launch for a couple of months, but when the service did launch on the Xbox One in 2014, you would receive 2 Xbox 360 games per month while also receiving 2 Xbox One games per month. This feature was really cool because it added a ton of games that you're able to play, and you could just build up a library just for paying your regular monthly Xbox Live subscription. It kind of made holding on to a subscription worth it because every couple of months there would be a really good game that was released. Also, moving forward in 2015, we kind of saw a relaunch of Xbox having an entity on PCs. While there were numerous failed attempts to bring Xbox Live services to other platforms under the Live Anywhere initiative, like Games for Windows Live or Xbox on Windows phones, we think that Xbox One Windows 10 is actually their most successful attempt so far. While not being close to anything that could rival Steam, there are a few upsides to playing Xbox or using the Xbox service on Windows 10. Nowadays, it seems like Microsoft actually values cross-play functionality and made a lot of their new exclusive games like Sea of Thieves, Halo Wars 2, and Gears of War 4 available on the Xbox and on Windows 10 upon release with full cross-platform multiplayer, and even allow players to use party chat between the PC and the Xbox. It's a really big improvement, and it looks like the next Halo game will also launch on both platforms. The Windows 10 Xbox app could use a few improvements and tweaks, but still works mostly perfectly for what it's supposed to do. And unfortunately, there's only a handful of games that are actually available and worth playing, but we do believe that Xbox Live Anywhere is still growing, and we do think this is going to play an integral part in what Microsoft decides to do with the Xbox brand in the next generation moving forward. We're really excited because Xbox Live has been a service that really has changed the landscape of gaming. You can look at even PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 and what they did to try to catch up to the innovative features that Xbox was dominating in the online side of things. And while Sony's done a great job at catching up, you can look at other companies like Nintendo who still haven't really caught on to how great the Xbox Live service worked and how simple it is to use. Who uses friend codes in 2019? Apparently, Nintendo Switch owners. Come on, Nintendo, get it together. But either way, we're grateful for everything that Xbox Live has provided. And even though Microsoft has made some controversial choices with where they've taken the brand over the years, Xbox Live has still been a solid experience and well worth the investment every month. But that's it for today. Did you like this video? If you enjoyed it, hit the like button down below. Leave us a comment with what your experience was with Xbox Live, and be sure to subscribe for more videos on the Xbox and glory days of Xbox 360 if you like this type of stuff. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.